Hello my friends! Today we are gonna create different kinds of loading screens in a React application. This is our app. When I refresh the page, as you can see, there are some skeleton loading animations on the navbar, sidebar and homepage feed. And moreover, we can change the loading animation super simple. The only thing I should do is changing my skeleton components type here. I'm gonna write circle. And now it's a circular progress animation. And I prepared a custom animation. Let's change. I will write custom. And here is another animation. It's really easy. And in my opinion, it's really important to implement UI components like this, because when you show your portfolio to your clients, the first thing they will see is your UI design. After making a good impression, other things will be easier. Okay, I hope you will enjoy it. If you want to see more tutorials like this, you can subscribe to the channel and like the video. If you are ready, let's get started. Okay, as you can see, we have two folders here. This is our React application and this is our API. It's not important, because the API is not our concern right now. Actually, you can even use set timeout in the React application, and after a particular time, you can set your fake user and data. But I remembered when I was new at web development, people were always doing that when they were talking about fetching data or any related topic like this. So I decided to do something more real world. Something more realistic. So, it's kinda our channel's motto, Llama Dev, only real world projects. Okay, let's turn back here. I just wanted to create something funny. I added here a user and some videos here, a funny thumbnail and username, title, image, and so on. So we are gonna fetch this data, these videos and this user, and in the index file I created an Express server and it's listening on port number 8800, and here are our endpoints. When we make request for this endpoint, it's gonna return this fake user inside this fake data, and when we make requests for these videos, it's gonna return all videos inside this fake data. By the way, if you have no idea about Node.js and Express server, as I said, it's not important for this tutorial. You can use set timeout for React, or you can use any fake API like JSON placeholder, doesn't matter. Or if you want to learn more about how to create REST API, you can check the link in the card on the right top. Okay, anyway, so I will close here. I think you understood. And this is our React application, our client side. So let's go to the app.js. Let's close them. As you can see, we have three components here, sidebar, top bar, and feed. Let's open them in the components. Feed. As you can see, it's empty. Let's run our application actually. I will go to the client side, cd client, and I'm gonna say yarn start. So as you can see, top bar, sidebar, and here is the feed. I'm not gonna show how to design them. I mean this sidebar and top bar, to avoid wasting time. But don't worry, in the future we are gonna create a complete YouTube application. We are gonna create all this design from scratch, and additionally we are gonna fetch real data from YouTube API. We will create single video page. We will be able to watch our videos and see related information. But this tutorial is only about fetching data and showing loading animations. Okay, so let's create some videos inside this feed component. There will be a post component, and inside we will add video image, channel name, title, description, so on. So let's do that. I will come here and create another component. It's gonna be post. So I'm gonna create my JSX file and my CSS file, and here you can create your post function. It can be normal functional component like this, or you can create arrow functional component like RAF CE, something like that. It's exactly the same thing. So let's write here class name. It's gonna be post. So let's see what we have inside our post component. I will open here YouTube, and here, ooh, Lipa. Okay, we have image here, and under this we have information, channel image, title, and other informations here. So what I'm gonna do is using Flexbox. Firstly, I'm gonna create image container, that because it's gonna include our image and duration here. And after that, I'm gonna create info container, and it's gonna contain this profile picture, this channel picture, and other information. And this is gonna be in other container. So let's do that. I will say post image container, and inside, let's say image, and class name will be post image. So let's paste here some random image, and after that, let's close here actually. After that, I'm gonna create a span here, and it's gonna show our video duration. I will say span, and post duration, and let's say 13 minutes and 5 seconds. Okay. So after that, I'm gonna create another container. It's gonna be post info container, and inside there will be image again. I will paste same image, doesn't matter for now, and of course class name, let's say post avatar. Okay, so what else? As I said, there will be another container. It's gonna be just post info dot here. Okay, so what we have here, channel name, views, and video date. Okay, I will say span, I will say post title, hello first video. I will duplicate this, and this will be post channel, and it's gonna be post, let's say detail. Llama dev, and here is our video views, let's say 14K views, and there's something in the middle of these views. There is a dot here, but I can't copy this, so I'm gonna write here dot symbol. So let's copy this, and I will paste here, and I'm gonna say 1 week ago. Okay, so it's ready. To use that, I will go to the feed component here, and inside I'm gonna call my post component. As you can see, it's imported from our post. So let's see, I will save. Okay, as you can see, it's here. It's our thumbnail, and it's our avatar, and others, we can see them because it's black also. Let's say Control A. As you can see, our text is here. Okay, perfect. So let's import our post CSS. I will go to the post JSX and here I will say import post CSS. So in this case, we can use this post CSS. Let's split this screen actually. Okay, but before I can go to the feed component because I will give some padding here and I'm gonna change this text color. It's gonna be inside feed CSS. Let's open this feed CSS. As you can see, it's empty for now. I will say feed and padding will be 25 pixels and color I will say white and display will be flex. That because our posts will be in the same row. There will be 4 posts here, and after that, if they don't fit in the same row, I wanna move them in the other row. So how I'm gonna do this? I will write here flex wrap. If you don't know what I mean, you will understand better right now. Don't worry, I will close this. And here, let's start with this post. This is our main container. I will say width 274 pixels and I will give margin right between each post and also margin bottom for each post. It's gonna be 30 pixels. Okay, and also it's gonna be cursor pointer so we can click them. And for the post image container, By the way, this width and height will be not important. You can use percentage also. I will say position relative. That because here it's gonna be our container and image. And as you can see, this duration is under this image. To do that, I should give this duration position absolute. And we are gonna position this duration relatively this container. Okay, so what else I will say? Let's give width and height 274 and height 153. Okay, and for this image, where is our image? We didn't give any class name. It's here. Post image. Oops. I will say width 100%, height 100%, which means it's parent width and height. And additionally, I will say object width cover. So it's gonna cover all this container. Okay, what else? Let's see actually first. As you can see, perfect. So what about this duration? I will copy this. I will say firstly position absolute. But before, let's give background color. It's gonna be 333. It's gonna be a little bit dark. And after that, I will say bottom 5 pixels and right will be 0. Let's see. As you can see, it's here. Perfect. But I can change style, maybe some padding and font size. I will say padding 2 pixels from top and bottom, 5 pixels from left and right. And font size will be a little bit smaller. Oops. Okay, and font weight will be 500. Okay, perfect. By the way, we are using Roboto font family. You can search for it. It's in the Google Fonts. So after that, let's copy this info container. Firstly, it's gonna be display flags because I wanna see this profile picture and information in the same row. And after that, I will say margin top 15. Okay. And what about this avatar? Let's make this circle and resize it. I will say 32 pixels, height 32 pixels, and border radius will be 50%. So it's circle right now. So let's see. Okay. And I'll say object width, cover. Okay, as you can see, it's a little bit wider and it covers all this container. Okay. So I will give margin right. I will separate this avatar and this information. Let's copy this. Again, display flex, but this time it's gonna be flex direction column because it's our title and this is our channel name and views. They all are gonna be in the same column. So I will say flex direction, it's gonna be column. Okay. And this title, I will say font size 15 and font weight will be bold, 500, and margin bottom 5 pixels. So what about this channel name and post detail? They will be same style. Font size 14 pixels and font weight will be again 500 and color will be a little bit grayish, let's say AAA. Margin bottom again 3 pixels because I wanna give space between this channel and the tail. Okay, let's see. As you can see, it looks really nice. So if I come here for feet and if I duplicate this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember what I said? They are gonna be in the same row. If they don't fit inside this line, they are gonna be in the other line. So if I come here, feed CSS, and if I delete this, as you can see, it's overflowing. So in any condition, they are gonna be in the same row if I do that. Let's open this. Okay, perfect. So what I'm gonna do is fetching data from my API. Let's open here another terminal and it's gonna be our API folder, cd API, and I'm gonna start this application also. Okay, our backend server is running. Right now I can fetch my data. Let's remember again our index file here. This is our fake user endpoint and this is our videos. So, and remember our port here 8800. So to use this, I will come here inside my package.json. I will go to the and here I'm gonna say proxy and my API address. It's gonna be HTTP localhost and my port number 8800. Okay, let's close this. Right now I can fetch my data. To do that, we are gonna use Axios. Let's come here. I will open my client again and I'm gonna say yarn add, or if you are using npm install of course, and Axios. By the way, let's come here, which libraries we are using. We are gonna be using this Axios, and additionally we are using Material UI Core and icons. And here, as you can see, these icons here and here on the top coming from this material UI. You can choose any icons here, and to use these icons you have to import these libraries, these two libraries. So let's close here, and in my code editor I can close here. As you can see, Axios is ready. Okay, let's close this CSS file also. So instead of using posts like this, I'm gonna fetch my data and assign each post for this post component. So how I'm gonna do this? Firstly, I'm gonna create two state here. First one will be is loading, and I will say set is loading, and I'm gonna use state hook here. And initial state will be true, and one more, it's gonna be videos, and initial state will be empty array. So essentially this is gonna show our loading is true or false. When we are fetching data, it's gonna be true, and when we finish fetching, we are gonna set this as false, and this is gonna be our videos after fetching. So how I'm gonna fetch this data? I'm gonna use effect, and my dependency will be empty array. That because I wanna run this whenever I refresh this feed component. So let's create our function. I will say const get videos, and it's gonna be async function. That because we are fetching this from API, it can be some latency, so we can't know the exact time. So after that, let's create function here. And right now I'm gonna set this loading because we are starting fetching. It's gonna be true. And after that, I'm gonna write here try catch block. And after everything, whether there is an error or actual data, we are gonna set this set loading as false. That because we finished our fetching process. Okay, so what I'm gonna write here, I will say const response, because this get request is gonna return us a response. I will say await Axios, and it's gonna be get method. Oops, why it didn't import? Okay, let's import manually. Sometimes happens. Axios from Axios. Okay. Right now, remember our endpoint is gonna be API and videos, and it's gonna be our user ID. And here, after getting response, if there is no error, I'm gonna set my videos. It's gonna be response and data. As you can see, we didn't use this function, so I will call this function here. Okay. Let's write here actually console log and see our actual data. I will open my console. Okay, something is wrong. That because we changed the package.json, but we didn't refresh our application. Let's close here actually. And for the client side, I'm gonna destroy this process and start again. Okay, let's open again. As you can see, our array is here and our all videos. And this is about our fav icon. It's not important because I deleted this icon. Okay, right now I can use these videos. how I'm gonna use this? Let's delete here. I will create here a map. I will say videos and map, and for each video I'm gonna return my post component, and I'm gonna pass my video here. Video equals video. As you can see, there are 8 videos right now, which means it's working. So let's come here and take this prop. I will say video. Right now I can use my properties. For example, for this image, it's not gonna be this custom image anymore. It's gonna be video.image. Let's see. As you can see, we changed them, and this is gonna be our video.duration, and this image, let's delete it. I will say video.channel and avatar, because remember our fake data here. We have title, view, state, duration, image, and also channel object here, and it contains name and avatar. Okay, so it means it's our video.title. Oops. And video.channel.name, and it's gonna be video.views, and finally video.date. So let's see. Perfect. Our image, title, channel name, views, and date. It works perfectly. So before creating loading animation, skeleton animation, let's do the same thing for top bar. As you can see, we have user here, and we are gonna fetch this user, but also we need this user here on the sidebar. That because if you are not logged in, you are not supposed to see this subscriptions and library. That because you don't have any account, so we need this user here also. Actually, we don't need user, that because they are dysfunctional, but we need is loading variable for this user. That because we are gonna create skeleton loading animation also. So what I mean is, we are not gonna create this fetching function in the top bar. We are gonna create inside app.js, and we are gonna share this with sidebar and top bar. Let's do that. I will actually copy here and paste. I will import them quickly, use effect and Axios. Okay, so is loading will be is loading. I will change this videos. It's gonna be user. Let's make this capital letter, and this time it's not gonna be array, it's gonna be empty object, and after that it's gonna return us our user object. And inside this user fact, let's say get user, and it's gonna be get user also, and here API and user ID and set user, it's gonna be again response and data. So right now I can pass this props. For sidebar we are gonna pass only is loading, because as I said it's dysfunctional, we don't need this user. But for top bar it's gonna be is loading, and also it's gonna be user. That because we are gonna be using this profile picture. Okay, let's come here, top bar. I will take this props is loading and user, and here for profile picture I will delete this, and I'm gonna write user dot, it was profile picture or avatar, let's check. Okay, it's avatar. As you can see, it's been changed. Perfect. So we finished our fetching operations. Right now we can create our skeleton animations. To do that, I'm gonna create again another component, and it's gonna be skeleton. And my JSX file. And my CSS file. Let's create our function. This time let's say RFC, doesn't matter. And here let's create our post skeleton. But it's not gonna be only post. For example, let's close this other YouTube. It's exactly the same thing. There will be our post skeleton for this menu and for this right menu on the top. So there will be 3 kinds of skeleton animation. So I'm not gonna write here directly. Instead, I'm gonna take type props. So if it's post, it's gonna return our post skeleton. If it's top, for example, it's gonna return our icons and this profile picture animation. And if it's menu, it's gonna be this sidebar animation. So what I will do is creating here different types of components. First one will be const feed skeleton, and it's gonna return some HTML elements. It's gonna be, let's say, post as key. So it stands for skeleton. So I'm gonna need similar things, image and info container, avatar details, but for these details it's gonna be only this title div and other text div here. So let's do that. Firstly, it's gonna be post image skeleton, and after that let's create container post info skeleton, and inside again our avatar post avatar skeleton, and after that there will be container post detail skeleton. Actually we can write these skeletons after post skeleton image, post skeleton info, avatar and detail. Okay, so inside this container there will be 2 texts. It's gonna be post skeleton text, and again, but this time let's say here small, because its width will be a little bit smaller. So let's return this component directly. For test I will write here feed skeleton, and instead of post here let's write, I will comment this out, I will write here skeleton just for test, and type will be feed. If I go to the home page, we can't see anything because we don't have any style. Let's do that. I will close here and split this screen. Okay, firstly our main container, it's gonna be the same thing like post. I will say 274 and margin right 12 and margin bottom 30. Actually, you can open your post CSS and copy paste and change names, but it can be a little bit confusing because some of them are image or any other elements, but here we are using only divs because we are gonna give only color here. So let's copy this for this image. For example, we don't have any object width or something like that. I will say background color is gonna be 35 and width 274 again, and height will be the same like post. And for this info, this is our container, it's gonna be display flex again, and I will give margin top. Now for this avatar, again background color same. Let's resize this 32, height 32, and border radius 50%. And I will give space between this image and other information. Let's see actually. Okay, we can't see anything. That's because we didn't import our CSS file. Skeleton.css. Okay, it's not here still. Let's change this to see better. And here I'm gonna copy this directly just for tests. Okay, it's here. So our problem is returning this component. That's because I forgot here my component tags. As you can see, it's still here. Let's change this color. Okay, perfect. Our image and avatar. So what about these texts? I will copy this detail. It's gonna be display flex, but this time flex direction column, and I will say with 100%, and for first text it's gonna be with 90% maybe, and for second one it's gonna be a little bit smaller, maybe 50, 40. Let's try. I will say post text, background color again 31, and width will be 90%, not pixel percent, and height will be 20 pixels. And I'm gonna give some margin between this first text and last text. It's gonna be margin bottom 5. Okay, why it's small? It should be bigger. Okay, I wrote here pixels again. It's gonna be percent. Okay, perfect. So I can make this text shorter. Let's paste here, and additionally it's gonna be small, and width will be, let's say, 50%. Okay, perfect. It's really nice, but it's not enough. We can give some animation maybe. To do that, I will come here, and for my main container I'm gonna say animation skeleton. My animation name is gonna take 1 second, and my timing function. If you don't know about animations or transitions, I highly recommend you to check the description below. I have an amazing course for this. You'll be able to create your own animations. There are more than 25 projects there. You can check this out. And I will say infinite. It's gonna take forever, and I will say alternate. And for keyframes for this animation, let's say our animation name here, skeleton. And from 0 to 100%, we are gonna reduce opacity. It's gonna be 0.5. Let's see. As you can see, we have an awesome animation. Perfect. But there is only one animation here. What can I do? Actually, it depends on user. Maybe you want just 1, maybe 4, maybe 8. So let's write here a constant. It's gonna be counter. And I will say 8. I wanna see 8 skeleton. So what I will do here, let's use this type also. I will say if type equals feet, it's gonna return this feet skeleton, but this counter times. So how I'm gonna do this, I will say array and my counter here, and if I say fill, let's close here and see better, and I'm gonna cover my component. So this method means write this component this counter times. It's gonna take this as an array and fill with this component. Let's see. As you can see, there are 8 components. If I change this, only 4, maybe 16. Perfect. I will keep this 8. It looks really nice. And right now, it's not gonna take forever. We are gonna use this only for is loading condition. So I will comment this on again. And let's copy this. I will write here a logic. I will say if is loading, it's gonna be calling our skeleton function, skeleton component. If it's not, it's gonna call our posts. Of course, I can delete here. Okay, let's see. I will refresh again. As you can see, we are seeing these skeletons, and after it's loading these videos. Let's open here console, and I'm gonna choose network here. If I come here and say slow 3G, it's gonna load our application really slow. I will refresh. As you can see, it's really slow, and we can see better right now. Actually, to see better, you can come here for API. You can maybe set timeout here. Set timeout. And I will move this here to see just better. You don't have to do this. So I will do the same thing. Set timeout. I will move this here and 5 seconds. Actually, let's say for user 3 seconds, and for videos 5 seconds, and it can be better, I think. So let's check again. I will refresh. I can close this old one, by the way. As you can see, it takes 5 seconds and boom, perfect. So I will do the same thing for this top bar. Let's close here, and for top bar, as you remember, we have is loading and user. I will copy this, and only for this right bar we can use our loading function, component. So I will say if it's loading, it's gonna call our skeleton component, and type will be, let's say, top. So if it's not loading, we can call this top right. Okay, let's close here. And right now I'm gonna create another component, const top skeleton. So it's gonna return, let's say, top skeleton. So what we have here, let's see. We have 3 icons and 1 profile picture. So they are gonna be our icons, same size. And this is gonna be a little bit bigger. So inside this container, let's create 3 icons, top sk icon. I will duplicate this. It's gonna be 3 times. And 1 more. It's not gonna be icon, it's gonna be image. Or avatar, whatever you say. So let's open our skeleton CSS, and here for our main component, let's open our top bar here, and we can see better, I think, because we are gonna be using this right side. Okay, it starts from here. So I will copy this. It's exactly this same container. And for icons, top icon, top sk icon. As you can see, this is our actual icons. So we can use this margin right. And additionally, I'm gonna give some width and height, and it's gonna be circle. Let's say 25, height 25, and border radius will be 50%. And background color will be 31, 31, 31. Okay, so what about this image? Top sk image. As you can see, this is our profile picture. Let's copy this. I will delete this, it's not an image. And it's gonna be same background color. Before seeing here in the browser, let's come here, and I'm gonna say if type is top, it's gonna return our top skeleton component. Let's save and see. I will refresh. As you can see, perfect. After 3 seconds, we are seeing here. After 5 seconds, we can see these videos. Perfect. But if you realize we don't have any animation, I can come here and copy this animation for this component also. Let's refresh. As you can see, perfect. So let's do the same thing for this sidebar. I will go to the sidebar. Let's see what we have here. We have wrapper and menu. This is our menu, and this is our other icons. So it starts from after this menu icon. So I can write here, but before, let's take this prop is loading. After menu, I will say if it's loading, call my skeleton component. And type will be, let's say, menu. I will close, and if it's not loading, I can call other divs here. But as you can see, we have warning that because this sidebar item doesn't have any parent here. So you can use div here as parent, or you can use React fragments. Let's do that. I will close here, and it's not question mark, it's gonna be colon, and perfect. So I can close here, and let's create our menu skeleton. I will say const menu skeleton, my function, and I'm gonna return another div. What we have, let's see. We have only 4 icons. It's really easy. I will say menu sk is gonna be my container, and after that menu sk and item. There will be 4 items, and here I will duplicate, and if it's menu, it's gonna call menu skeleton. Okay, let's copy this, and for this CSS file I'm just gonna call this animation again, and for each item let's say width 40, height 40, and border radius will be 50%, and background color as always our gray color, and I'm gonna give margin top for each item. I will refresh. Awesome. After 3 seconds we can see here. Perfect. It's really nice. Let's do this again. And additionally, I wanna add any other components like circular bar and our custom animation. To do that, we are gonna use Material UI progress bar. It was our icons page, but we are not gonna use icons. It's gonna be progress bar. Okay, let's search for it. Progress. Okay, it's gonna be this circular progress. You should install Material UI core library. As I said before, we are using core and icons, so we don't need to install anything. Let's call this progress bar, but before I will create another component, const, I will say just circle, and there will be circle container, and inside I'm gonna call my progress bar. What was the name? Circular progress. I should import this. Okay, I can do this automatically. I will come here and import manually. I will say progress, and from Material UI core. So how I'm gonna center this circular progress? I will copy this, and here in the CSS I will say with 100%, so it's gonna contain all feed screen here, and I wanna center this here. So it should be display flags, align item center, justify content center. So let's see. I will go to the feed, and here type will be circle. But we didn't write our condition here. Let's do that. So if it's circle, it's gonna call our circle component. Let's see. As you can see, it's here. Perfect. So I wanna create one more component here. It's gonna be my custom animation. So I will say const custom loading. Oops, it's not a function. It's gonna return just component, just HTML elements. So what I wanna do is creating here a text. It's gonna be loading, and above this text I'm gonna create 3 balls, and they are gonna be animating like this. Okay, it's terrible explanation like this, but you will understand what I mean. Firstly, I'm gonna create custom div. It's gonna be our main div, and I'm gonna say balls div, and inside these balls there will be 3 ball, ball 1, ball 2, and 3. And after this balls container, I will have custom text. I will say span custom text, and it's gonna be loading. Oops, custom. So let's come here and duplicate. It's gonna call our custom loading. If I write here custom. So let's come here and change. It's not gonna be circle, it's gonna be custom. And here, let's do the same thing for custom also. Our main container, there will be centered. And after that, I will say balls container is gonna be display flags, because I wanna see them in the same row. And for each ball, I will say width 10, height 10, border radius, they're gonna be circle again. And background color, it's not gonna be 31, it's gonna be white. And for each ball, I'm gonna give margin 10 pixels. And for the text, custom text, I'll say font weight 100. It's gonna be really thin. Let's see before animation. I will refresh. As you can see, we are seeing in the same row. Let's say flex direction column. For this custom, I forgot this. Flex direction will be column. Let's check again. Okay. So I can create my animation right now. For each ball, it's gonna be animation, and ball is gonna take half second, and is infinite again, and alternate. But they're not gonna be synchronous. I will give some delay for other balls. Ball 2, I will say animation delay. It's gonna be 0.1 seconds. For ball 3, it's gonna be, let's say, 2 seconds. So let's create this animation. After here, I will say keyframes, and my animation name from 0 to 100. I'm gonna move them. So I will say transform, translate Y, because it's on the Y axis, 10 pixels. Let's see. I will refresh. Okay, they are not moving. Something is wrong. Okay, balls, ball. Okay, I forgot here. Second. As you can see, awesome. I will refresh again. Perfect. It's really nice, really useful. Only thing you should do here, changing your type. It's gonna be circle or feet skeleton. Awesome. So we finished our project. We are gonna create a YouTube clone and fetch real data from Google YouTube API, and we are gonna create this design from scratch. And of course, additionally, there will be a video screen page. We will be able to watch the video, see the information and comments, and recommended videos on the right bar. So it's gonna be a complete YouTube application. So stay tuned. Okay. If you learned something new today, please like the video and say something in the comments. It really motivates me. And don't forget to follow our social media accounts and Discord server. You can ask your question there and reach the special draws or courses. So that's all. I hope I will see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.